No one noticed it at first. That was the most disturbing part. The packets didn't announce themselves. They didn't spike traffic or crash systems. They didn't behave like malware, nor did they resemble any known intrusion. They simply appeared, quietly, casually, as if they had always been there and everyone had just forgotten to look. The first confirmed sighting came from a network engineer in Reykjavik, monitoring undersea cable traffic during a routine maintenance window. At 3:17 local time, his system flagged a packet with a structure he had never seen before. No recognizable header, no identifiable protocol, no source IP. Yet the checksum validated perfectly. It shouldn't have been possible. He assumed it was corruption, a ghost in the wire. He discarded it. 36 minutes later, the same packet appeared again. Identical length, identical internal ratios, still no source, still no destination. Only one field changed. ATIMESTMP. Not the current time, not any time. Something else. Within 48 hours, similar reports surfaced across the world. Singapore, Sao Paulo. Toronto. Nairobi. Always the same packet. Always the same silence around it. And always detected by people who knew enough to realize that what they were seeing did not belong on any human-built network. The packets did not travel through the internet. They avoided it. Deep analysis revealed something unsettling. These data structures moved along unused bandwidth. Microscopic gaps between active transmissions, regions engineers had assumed were inert. They slipped through dark fiber, bounced off abandoned infrastructure, and reappeared where no route should have connected them. It was as if the network already existed. Human systems were simply passing through it. Attempts to trace the packets failed. Every tracer route returned nonsense coordinates pointing to the middle of oceans, empty deserts, or places that did not exist on any map. Some led to cities that would not be founded for another 30 years. Governments quietly took interest. Then corporations. Then militaries. A joint task force was formed under the harmless designation of a global synchronization anomaly. They called it GSA-16. Someone, eventually, decided to answer the network. They didn't know why. Curiosity maybe. Or fear of being ignored by something that clearly knew how to ignore us. A reply packet was constructed, carefully neutral, devoid of human language. Nothing but raw mathematical acknowledgement. It was sent into the gap. The response arrived in less than 1 millisecond. That alone shattered several laws of physics. The returned packet contained a payload. No text. No images. Just a state description. Compressed, recursive, elegant beyond any known data model. After weeks of analysis, a linguist noticed something chilling. The structure wasn't describing information. It was describing observation, not what was being transmitted. But who was transmitting? One field appeared repeatedly, always recalculated, always precise. Observer_state, active. When the same system was placed on an automated loop sending packets without human supervision. The responses changed. Latency increased. Payload complexity dropped. Certain fields vanished entirely. When a human operator returned, watching the live data stream, the network responded instantly. More detail. More precision. More attention. The implication was obvious and horrifying. The network did not communicate with machines. It communicated through them. And it only fully engaged when it detected awareness on the other side. One engineer described the sensation during direct monitoring as being stared at from the other end of reality. Another resigned after claiming the packets began adjusting themselves based on his breathing patterns. Then came the incident in Munich. An independent researcher, unauthorized and brilliant, attempted something reckless. He embedded a question not in words but in structure. A logical paradox folded into a packet shape, designed to test whether the network merely responded or understood. The response took 7 seconds. That alone was unprecedented. When it arrived, the payload was simple. A single field, connection acknowledged, followed by another, integration unnecessary. And finally, you were already within at 2:41 a.m. Every monitor in the room went dark for exactly 0.9 seconds. When power returned, the researcher was gone. No signs of struggle. No forced entry. His biometric sensors showed a final spike, then flatlined, not as death but as absence, as if the concept of him had been cleanly removed from the system. Officially, the incident was labeled a medical emergency. Unofficially, all further attempts to directly question the network were suspended. The packets still arrive. They always will. Engineers have learned to recognize the subtle signs, the impossible timestamps, the routes that don't exist, the feeling of being slightly out of phase with the room while watching the data flow. The network does not expand. It does not evolve. It does not need to. It was never built. It was discovered by accident, when human technology became complex enough to brush against it. A system not made for communication. But for coexistence, or containment. No one knows how long it has been running, or what it considers a successful connection. One thing is certain, the network does not monitor traffic. It monitors observers, and once you realize it is there, once you truly see the pattern, you are no longer outside of it. You never were.